First person feels like the most natural point of view to reach for. It is also the one that trips up new writers the fastest. When you are putting a memory or an imagined moment onto the page, the instinct is to report it the way you would say it out loud. I did this. Then I did that. Then this happened to me. That instinct is not wrong. It is just a first draft of a habit, not finished craft. Writers coming out of journaling, memoir, or a diary feel this pull hardest. That is exactly the voice a diary rewards. But fiction asks for more than a diary can give. A reader is not just checking in on what the narrator did today. A reader wants to be inside the moment with the narrator. A page built entirely on I+Verb sentences keeps that door half shut. So let's look at what stacked I sentences actually do to a reader. The first problem is the log entry effect. When sentence after sentence opens the same way, you train the reader's eye into a rhythm. Once a reader locks onto that rhythm, they stop reading closely and start skimming for the next beat. A string of I sentences reads like an incident report. Efficient, maybe? Alive? Rarely. The second problem is stranger, and it is the nearness paradox. First person exists to put a reader inside a narrator's skin. But a narrator who constantly announces, I did this, I felt that, is narrating from just outside himself. He is reporting on his own actions instead of living them in front of the reader. Cutting the announcement usually brings the reader closer, not further away. Now for the fix. Here are 6 techniques for breaking the pattern. None of these exist to remove the word I from first-person prose. First person needs that word. They exist to give you more than one gear, so 3 or 4 I sentences never pile up without a reason. Technique 1 is to front-load the sensation or the setting. Let the smell, the sound, the room, or the object open the sentence. Push the narrator's action later, or drop it where it is already understood. Instead of, I opened the closet and I smelled her perfume still clinging to the empty hangers, write this. Her perfume still clung to the empty hangers when the closet door opened. Technique 2 is to transfer agency to the body or the object. Hands, legs, a heartbeat, a machine, these can carry the verb instead of the narrator announcing the action. The possessive my keeps the sentence in first person without needing I as the subject. Instead of, I picked up the box and I felt my hands shaking, write this. My hands shook picking up the box. Technique 3 is to combine chained actions into one sentence. Several short steps can collapse into a single sentence that carries the whole chain. The small repeated actions ride on an implied subject instead of restating I each time. Instead of 3 clipped sentences about taping, stacking, and going back, write this. The box got taped shut, stacked by the door, and another one started before the tape gun even cooled off. Technique 4 is to cut the filter verbs. I felt, I saw, I noticed, I realized. Almost all of these are deletable. State the thing felt, seen, or realized directly. A reader already inside first person will supply the perceiving on their own. Instead of, I felt a lump rise in my throat when I found her note taped to the mirror, write this. A lump rose in my throat at her note taped to the mirror. Technique 5 is to drop the subject pronoun where context already carries it. This one comes straight out of the hard-boiled and noir tradition. A terse first-person voice can drop the subject entirely when it is obvious who is acting. Used sparingly, it reads as clipped and controlled, not incomplete. Instead of, I didn't answer the phone when it rang, write this. Didn't answer when the phone rang. Technique 6 is to let another character or detail carry the sentence. Something else's reaction can report what just happened without another I sentence stating it outright. The information still belongs to the narrator's experience. It just arrives secondhand, through its effect on the world around him. Instead of, I slammed the door so hard the neighbor's dog started barking, write this. The door slam set the neighbor's dog off, barking through 2 walls. Now, here is the important part. This is not a rule that applies the same weight in every genre. Voice decides how much of it to use. Hard-boiled and noir fiction can lean into short, declarative I sentences on purpose. That clipped rhythm, in the Hammett and Chandler tradition, is a deliberate choice. It sounds like a man giving a report, because that is who he is. Technique 5, dropping the pronoun, belongs almost entirely to this tradition. Literary and interior fiction gets hurt the worst by unbroken I sentences. Interiority is usually the whole point of the book. These manuscripts benefit most from techniques 1, 2, and 4. Sensation, the body, and cut filter verbs all deepen interiority instead of just reporting it. YA and diary-style narration can tolerate more I sentences than most genres. The form is imitating an actual diary or a teenager talking straight to the reader. Even here, though, 3 or 4 in a row will flatten the voice the format is trying to create. Thriller and action prose live or die on pace. That makes Technique 3, combining chained actions, the most valuable tool in this genre. A fight or an escape, written in short, separate I sentences, drags exactly where it should accelerate. Before you go, here is a quick diagnostic you can run on any finished page. First, pull 1 full page of your own first-person draft. Second, circle every sentence that opens with the word I. Third, mark any run of 3 or more of those sentences in a row. Fourth, pick 2 different techniques from this list and rewrite that run 2 separate ways. Fifth, read both rewrites out loud next to the original. Notice which one changes the pace of the scene, and how. The goal is not a page with no I in it. The goal is to become a writer who notices the pileup before a reader does.